Well, I did not anticipate myself to be this late. Two reasons I was late. Because number one, I walked to the tobacco store and got another vape. And number two, I had to warm up my food. Plus, I had to do the background real quick for it because I never got to do it. If you like the background, let me know. As well as the thumbnail that I did for the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm IWN. Welcome back to the channel. This is your Forensic Files 2, American Monster Science of Psychopath watch along for July the 23rd, 2023. Even though I'm way behind those episodes already. I'm a little behind, but the first Forensic Files 2 episode that we're going to watch is, I believe, episode 5. Yes, it's episode 5, where it's titled The Scent of Death. It says, a young Colorado mother suddenly vanishes on Thanksgiving. But when police trace her cell phone, it leads them to a surprising character with an even more surprising story. Now, before we dive deeper into this episode and watch it and find out what this surprising story is, if you guys are new to the channel, man, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bell for notifications, man, so you don't miss a single live stream. So you don't miss a single Forensic Files, American Monster Science of a Psychopath, miss a single AW Dynamite, or even a Collision watch-along that goes live each and every single week. And not to mention my game streams. We're going to be streaming 2 new games this week. I haven't even downloaded the other one yet. I already have my first one. They're both racing games, but they're not the same racing games. They're different. One of them is going to be Grid Legends, and I'll let you guys know the other one this coming Thursday, which is this week. It's already on the schedule. I mean, I'm going to mention it Thursday anyway, even though the other game's on the schedule. It's going to be fun. The other game is going to be really fun. And it has Sonic's friends on it. I'm just going to give you the name. It has Sonic's friends on it. I don't know if you played the old Sonic games from back in the day. I know I have. But I'm going to tell you the name of the game Thursday. It's a surprise. Because I'm going to be streaming it Friday afternoon. Now, I hope you all have been turning on the notifications, man. Hopefully. And like I said, hit the like button, man. Let's get at least 5-6 likes in here tonight. For your Sunday evening, man. For all these episodes that I'm about to watch, that we're about to dig deeper into, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive deeper into episode 5 of Forensic Files 2, season 4. And let's see what we'll find out about this surprising character with this even more strange, surprising story. This is interesting. Here we go, guys.
They found nothing out of the ordinary. Text messages leading to a surprise witness and a horrifying story.
Might as well turn the lights. Don't need it. I don't need the lights on. I love the background. I feel like I did a good job with it. Honestly, I was the one that did the background. I always do my stuff right when it comes to content. I know what backgrounds you want. I know what kind of high quality backgrounds and thumbnails you guys will see. I know. I give you what you want. American Monsters is on right now, but I have this paused for like an hour or two now. So I had to go to the store and
she had been interested
I had to do some other stuff.
From a very young age. She was incredibly intelligent.
She's training our next today.
Hey, I'm here. If anybody wants to chat, you can. This is a watch along. Now, the next Forensic Files 2 episode is episode 6.
2016,
I'm going to tell you what that one is right after this one goes off. Right after I get finished watching this one.
A modern day cowboy. He's runs cattle.
She said a modern day
Has
cowboy.
different ranches all around Colorado.
The two fell in love, got engaged, and Kelsey moved to Colorado to be with Patrick. In 2017, the couple welcomed a baby girl into their lives.
She has the baby,
Hmm.
and by all accounts, they're really a cute young couple with an adorable.
Maybe I'll be able to do that with my girlfriend one day.
Even though they had a child together, this relationship was a little unusual.
Kelsey wasn't living with Patrick. Patrick, in fact, never ever lived with Kelsey.
The reason? Patrick's ranch required a lot of work and a lot of time. He lived there with his mother, about 20 miles away from where Kelsey lived.
You gotta wonder about a guy.
I got a lot planned for this channel this week.
This unusual
Gotta start working on my new intro.
wasn't helped at all by the undisguised hostility Patrick's mother had for his bride-to-be.
His mom openly would go around and tell people, "That's the whore that my son picked up at the airport." Patrick's mom wasn't very happy about the relationship, so there was a lot of tension.
Shortly after Thanksgiving 2018, Kelsey dropped out of contact for more than a week, which was highly unusual. Her mother couldn't track her down.
His friend had
Uh-oh.
talked to Kelsey, and she can't reach
You hear that?
So she
They said
trying to figure
her
out
mother
what's going on.
couldn't track her down.
She's trying to call Patrick, and what's going on here, Patrick?
Patrick assured Kelsey's mother the baby.
What y'all think that means?
But he also had bad news. He said he and Kelsey's relationship was on the rocks. He said he hadn't spoken to her since Thanksgiving, although they did exchange some text messages. Kelsey's employers were contacted. They hadn't seen her for days.
Kelsey didn't go to work, and that is very unlike Kelsey.
ID is giving us banger of episodes, man. ID's been on the road.
Not going to be there.
Though it seemed totally out of character, investigators had to consider that given the problems in her relationship with Patrick, Kelsey may have simply run off.
There is just
Ain't no way she ran off.
right.
Her body has to be in the fucking woods somewhere. Ain't no way she ran off. Since American Monster's on, since I have Forensic Files 2, episode 5 pause, we're going to fast forward it every time it goes on commercial. So we can catch up with American Monster because it's already 9:27 p.m. This time be flying. No cap. It's back on now. There we go.
On Thanksgiving Day, Kelsey told her mother she planned to do some shopping at a local Safeway.
She walks in, she gets a cart, she's got her daughter in the cart, and she just looks like she's any other mom who's picking something up on Thanksgiving Day that they forgot to before.
Kelsey's fiance and her baby's mother, Patrick Tracy, told police he and Kelsey exchanged the baby on Thanksgiving afternoon. This was also confirmed in pictures.
Kelsey's next door neighbor had surveillance cameras that actually pointed towards Kelsey's front
Oh,
door.
really?
Patrick believes this was the last time he saw Kelsey.
We basically had a heart-to-heart about, this wasn't working out. She wanted to just, go our separate ways.
You could tell he's lying. His story don't sound right.
They did exchange some text messages.
Y'all can hear and tell that his story does not sound right. It sounds very suspicious.
From Kelsey to Patrick.
You can just tell by hearing the way he talks. You can just tell by his tone.
That was a fairly emotionally triggering type of text.
Did you feel like she was safe? Like she wasn't depressed, suicidal, or anything like that?
Oh, no, she requested I give her
Y'all, let's get the likes up.
all of her possessions back. So,
Hit the thumbs up. Hit the like button if you're enjoying your time here in the live chat so far. If you're enjoying listening to what you're hearing.
Patrick told police that
Especially if you enjoyed the content I have here on the channel.
almost a year earlier, after they'd had a particularly nasty argument.
Patrick said he and Kelsey were arguing, and it was about finances. And Kelsey
I had to reboot the darn live stream again because
had a gun.
quality was fucking aggravating.
Better off dead.
Sometimes
That caused
it can
some
be.
concern with Patrick, with regard to Chelsea's mental state.
The police officer asks him, do you think that she was depressed or anything like that? And he says, oh, no. She was fine, or I wouldn't have given her gun back to her.
She wasn't, depressed or suicidal.
I think he's hiding something.
She just had enough of the arrangement.
I think the boyfriend's hiding something, dude.
But there was still hope that Chelsea.
I really do.
Her phone was on the move.
I really do think that.
Yes, so that is her canyon up in Idaho. Reports are correct that Kelsey's phone gave a location near Gooding, Idaho on November 25th. We've executed search warrants on Kelsey's home as well as both of her vehicles. They are treating Kelsey's disappearance as a missing person case.
Kelsey had no reason to be in Idaho, so it really made you wonder what.
I'm about to start getting some room light.
Police in the area were alerted but could find no sign of Kelsey. By this time, 10 days had passed and her family was frantic.
Like I said, she doesn't know, and someone knows where she's at. Kelsey, we just want you to.
Kelsey's mother and brother traveled.
That one over there ain't working.
to Colorado. The first thing they did was their own search of Kelsey's house. And to the surprise of forensic experts, they found something local investigators missed.
Where this case takes a very sharp turn is
Oh,
when Kelsey's brother
case
sits down in the toilet, and he sees what he believes to be blood on the toilet. He contacts law enforcement, and immediately it is apparent that there is what appears to be blood on that toilet.
Now, on the assumption this was a crime scene, the team of forensic technicians descended on Kelsey's condo.
The CSI people put it there back in there 6 or 7 times. They're pulling up the floorboards, they're pulling upstairs.
The CSI team employed a substance called Blue Star, which, like luminol, glows when in contact with the hemoglobin in blood.
They find blood in several places. They find blood on the bathtub. They find blood on the.
Blood on the. Ooh. Oh.
When I saw that blood. Because now you know something bad is happening.
What?
She's not alive.
Oh, man. Told you, I'm getting suspicious about her husband. It had to be her husband that did it. No doubt about it. Her husband did it, man. Who do you guys think committed this murder? Do you think it's the husband, or do you think it was someone else? Oh, there it is.
They'd experienced she'd been murdered.
We were able to identify a profile, and that profile was a profile of Kelsey.
But the DNA results also presented a surprise finding. 2 more genetic profiles were found in Kelsey's condo.
They did find unknown subjects. There was a female and there was a male.
There were no hits on either profile in the CODIS DNA database.
Damn.
Female DNA was ultimately matched back to the condo's previous tenant.
That was kind of the odd one. She said the day she knew, cut herself a few times doing boxes, and she just let it bleed onto the floor. So we actually found a lot of people out in those floorboards.
At this point, Kelsey's partner, Patrick Tracy, was a potential suspect and had to surrender his DNA.
Patrick's DNA was not found in Kelsey's
Damn it,
condo,
dude.
and that's interesting.
Fuck.
This is a couple. This is someone that you would expect to find his DNA in her condo.
That stuff had to drop like that.
Examination of the scene provided the answer. Every corner of Kelsey's condo had been meticulously cleaned. The only reason the previous tenant's DNA survived was because she was allergic to a lot of things, including the lack of the floorboards. So her blood had soaked deep into the wood and survived.
Hope my night don't get fucking ruined. Because I'm starting to get aggravated. I really am.
She can't put Band-Aids on because she's allergic to the adhesive on the Band-Aid, so she cut cut herself, she'd walk around the house, let's say like her hand like this, and the blood would just drip down on the floor.
The source of the male DNA could not be identified. Whoever killed Kelsey would appear to have had access to the condo, so that put Patrick at the top of the suspect list. And as detectives asked questions about him, they got some disturbing information.
They talked to his girlfriend in high school, and she said the best thing that ever happened to me was dating Patrick Crazy. I said, how come? She said, I learned what I didn't want in someone to date or to marry someday.
In addition to being forced to surrender his DNA, Patrick also had to provide his cell phone, and this proved to be a forensic gold mine.
There's a tremendous amount of digital forensics that the police are uncovering.
Patrick's story never changed. He said he texted Kelsey a few times after he last saw her on Thanksgiving Day, but the locations of the two phones involved in these text exchanges raised a host of questions. Cell towers.
I told you her husband's lying.
Apparently traveling.
I had a feeling he was lying.
While these messages went back and forth.
Their phones are always together. Their phones travel together throughout the days on the 23rd and on the 24th. The two phones are together.
Assuming Kelsey was dead, there seemed to be only one explanation as to why her phone was with Patrick's phone in the days after she disappeared.
What does that tell them? Well, that tells them that Patrick is creating his own forensic timeline. He is attempting to create his own narrative about where Kelsey is, what's happening, his own forensic countermeasures.
Cut the camera off since nobody's in here.
Realize that he actually telling them they're together and then losing together.
Oddly enough, in the days after Kelsey disappeared, Patrick made more than 40 calls to the 208 area code, which is in Idaho. In fact, 208 was the same area code Kelsey's phone had been traced to shortly after she went missing.
We learned that the owner of that 208 number is Crystal Kenny, and she would open this case wide open.
Crystal
So who
Kenny.
was Crystal Kenny, and why was Patrick desperate to talk to her right after Kelsey disappeared?
Crystal Kenny was a rodeo queen. She had a relationship with
Patrick may have had an affair.
Control over Crystal Kenny, but they never tried
Maybe
to-
Kelsey was in the way
She's
of his
in
affair.
love with Patrick Crazy. The relationship is very volatile. Is really the only way you could describe it. It's also very strange. For whatever reason, Patrick is not done with Crystal, and Crystal is not done with Patrick.
Detectives confronted Crystal Kenny, who said her relationship with Patrick was now strictly business. They said they didn't believe her.
At that point, she goes, I want to talk to you guys. There is information, but I don't want to talk to you without an attorney.
She is being interviewed by law enforcement, and she tells law enforcement what can really only be described as a bombshell. I think everyone's jaws hit the floor when they heard it. I know mine did.
This level of planning is my opinion.
Crystal Kenny told investigators on the Kelsey Barrett murder case that her on-again, off-again lover, Patrick Crazy, insisted she drive to Colorado right after Thanksgiving 2018. And for reasons he didn't explain, he told her to bring cleaning materials.
She meets Patrick, she gets the keys to Kelsey's condo, and she opens up the door, and her description is that she sees a horrific, bloody crime scene.
Crystal told investigators that Patrick told her to clean the scene. She kept quiet and did what she was told. It took hours.
I've had people clean up scenes. I've never had anybody clean up a scene like she did.
Crystal now recounted the harrowing.
Patrick told her to clean up the
Told
darn
detectives
scene.
Patrick admitted killing scene. And then she took them on a tour of Kelsey's condo to show them what happened.
When you came in, what did you see? Blood all over the floor. According to Crystal, Patrick tells her that he had a bat, and he plays a game with Kelsey called Guess the Scent of the Candle. He ties a sweater as a blindfold around Kelsey's head.
She didn't think anything of it. She's just gonna smell it. I mean, who would? It's your fiance. It's Thanksgiving Day.
As Kelsey's smelling candles and trying to guess the scent, Patrick then begins to beat Kelsey about her head.
While this happened, the couple's baby girl was just a few feet away in another room.
There was a bunch of baby toys.
It's so hard to wrap your head around. I mean, the way he killed her was so brutal and so senseless.
There was a lot of blood. Covered on the floor, all over the floor.
He wants you to smell a candle and then beats you to death with a baseball.
Crystal's tour continued at Patrick's ranch. She said he bundled Kelsey's body in a large tote box.
The container was a black plastic tote that was about this tall.
Then hid it at the top of a stack of hay bales. She said he ultimately destroyed Kelsey's body by setting it on fire.
Oh, that's just evil.
As for Kelsey's phone being tracked to Idaho, Crystal said Patrick gave it to her to throw off investigators.
He goes as far as to have his mistress take Kelsey's phone to Idaho, and he has his mistress, Crystal Lee Kenny, text his phone, "Do you even love me?" So he's going to extreme lengths to try to cover this up and try to investigators think Kelsey is still alive for as long as he can.
Despite this overwhelming evidence, it appeared nothing remained of Kelsey's body, which was a big problem for prosecutors.
They don't have a body. And so one of the things they have to prove is that this person really is dead. That's what radar covered.
Radar the Bloodhound is a highly trained forensic professional, a fact that's been legally certified in many states, including Colorado.
Bloodhound's testimony is allowed in court. That's how acute their olfactory system is. The court system believe and feel that what they do is worthy for court. Yes, sir. Yes, good look. Yes.
Cadaver bloodhounds like Radar are trained almost from birth to track human smell, and they've been doing it for centuries.
They were actually your first police dog. Scent goes up the flue, and then this part here, right up to their nose. When their head's down working, when their ears sweep the scent up the nose. And when their head is down, the skin covers their eyes. And all the crinkles actually help hold the scent in. So everything about her is made for tracking.
Detectives thought that Radar might hit on something in the stack of hay bales where Kelsey's body had allegedly been hidden. Once Radar was on top of this stack of hay, he went straight to the spot where Crystal said Kelsey's body had been hidden.
And he indicated that there was decomposition of her on top of the hay bales. And he looks and he sets and he's looking up. Well, that confirms again that we had a decomposing human being on this location.
And with that expert opinion in hand, prosecutors charged Patrick Tracy with
Told you he did it.
murder. In addition to Radar, a key witness would be Crystal Kenny.
Quite frankly, we didn't deal with the devil. There's no ifs, ands, or buts of that with her.
Crystal ultimately served 14 months for evidence.
I was pretty angry about it. And Patrick, my feelings about Patrick are that he's a sociopath. And I believe that he doesn't care about anyone else but himself.
At Patrick Tracy's trial, court observers thought Radar would make an appearance, but it was not to be.
When I showed up to court, they swore me in and stuff, and then Dan, the district attorney, Dan May, asked, he says, what is Radar? And I said, he's a 140-pound bloodhound. He throws slobber everywhere. And I just didn't think it was a good idea. And the judge was like, so thank you.
In November of 2019, Patrick Frazee was found guilty of first-degree murder and got life in prison plus 156 years. Investigators say about the only thing that makes sense in this senseless murder is the evidence that exposed who did it.
While Crystal's testimony was vital, the DNA evidence that was found in Kelsey's condo tells us what happened. And the bloodhound hitting on that section of the hay, all of these pieces of evidence came together to lead the jury to only one conclusion. And the evidence was really overwhelming of Patrick's guilt.
Yep. She is correct.
A single mother doesn't survive a life and death struggle.
It was blood everywhere. I mean, all over the living room, the walls, the back door. She fought for her life.
All right, y'all.
Probably the longest fight to death.
So, here's the title for Forensic Files, Episode 6. Here's the guide. This one is about a young mother being found murdered in her home. And there were indeed two suspects with ample motive. An unusual interview and security camera footage had investigators puzzled. And this episode is titled Murder Mark. So we're going to tune in and find out who these two suspects are. This one's going to be even more interesting to watch. Here we go.
That I ever investigated.
No one could believe that this woman would be a target for murder.
I was taken into a detective's car, and he asked me, do I know?
By the way, this is Mystery Crime Educational. This is science.
And I'm like, oh, Nikki.
These Forensic File 2 episodes
Evidence
are.
shows the killer is uncomfortably close to home.
Look at the physical altercations all done. And no teary-eyed now about it because I knew.
Nikki Whitehead's life was full of obstacles from the moment she was born.
Nikki was born in prison. You know, she's the oldest of 5 siblings.
Unlike her brothers and sisters, Nikki was not raised by her mother. Her mother was behind bars for most of Nikki's childhood.
She wasn't in the same household as her siblings. What she didn't know, and I even said, like, oh my goodness, Nikki, you didn't know you were born in prison. So that's how you was in the custody of your grandmother.
This made for some rocky times during Nikki's teenage years, but she was determined to have some stability in her life. She graduated from cosmetology school and opened her own hairstyling business in an Atlanta suburb.
She made good money. She was good at doing hair. She quickly built a clientele.
As she was building her business, Nikki had a brief affair with a Jamaican national, and in 1993 gave birth to identical twin daughters, Jasmaya and Tasmaya, who became known to everyone as Jazz and Taz.
Jazz and Taz, they were well-behaved kids. They were straight-A students. I can remember one of the girls receiving like the highest achievement award in her grade at that time.
Sadly, the twins' father left the family, but Nikki did her best to be a devoted single mother.
Nikki really wanted to get things straight, have a good family. She's had her own business going, and things were headed in the right direction.
In 2000, Nikki, 24 years old at the time, started a relationship with a man named Robert Head, who was 30 years old.
Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up.
The twins ultimately moved
As of right now, I don't see any
Probably
likes.
first met her at a mall, saw the mall,
Getting upset.
and just fell in love with her at first sight. He loved
Don't
her
leave me hanging now.
and everything. And Nikki at that point in her life kind of needed somebody.
On a January afternoon in 2010, a local police officer doing routine rounds in the area was flagged down by the twins.
They came home from school like they normally do. They walked in the house. They see the crime scene. They just go to pieces, come running out of the house screaming, call 911, call 911.
Inside, police found a scene of incredible violence.
We entered the house. There's immediate stench of coppery blood smell, almost that you can taste. It's so thick in the air. There's blood on every wall in the living room, dining room. This just a chaotic scene.
It was immediately clear that a hard-fought struggle had taken place all through the first floor of the house.
I've been policing quite a long time. I've seen a lot of bloody scenes. This was probably one of the worst I'd seen.
Whitehead was found in the bathtub, apparently stabbed to death and placed there after she was killed. A blood trail gave investigators a pretty good idea of what happened.
At one point, Nikki had her back against the wall. Her hair was braided. You can see the blood pattern, the braid and the blood pattern up against the wall. You can see different intervals of the fight as the blood smeared.
The blood trail showed Nikki made it out of the house, but only briefly.
We canvassed the neighborhood, and detectives went up to the house next door. As they approached the house, they saw a bloody handprint on the column of the porch, and interviewed that neighbor.
Oh, really?
He had been laying in bed listening to a morning show on the radio, so we were able to kind of pinpoint time frame about the show that he was listening to.
He said somebody's banging on his door. Young called the police and asked him why didn't he? He said it was none of his business.
Nikki's killer somehow got her back inside the house. Her autopsy showed scores of the wounds. She'd been stabbed more than 80 times.
When I found out that Nikki fought back and she fought for her life, I had to bury her. So therefore, excuse me. So, therefore, thinking that I was going to be able to bury her, it did something for me to know that, she just didn't give up.
There was no sign of forced entry, and the only thing apparently missing from the house was the murder weapon.
You've never had a conversation with a guy like me.
He was like happy by the
Pretty sure.
so he's a psychopath.
All right.
Body. As Whitehead were interviewed by detectives. Naturally, the girls were in shock after finding their mother's body.
The hell?
After a while, investigators were finally able to ask the twins the key question. Did they have any idea who would want to kill their mother?
I was confused. She said grandma, and then she said mom.
possibility made a lot of sense to detectives. The evidence at the scene of the murder indicated Nikki endured a brutal attack.
The stabber was just stabbing repeatedly in one area, would indicate that this is a crime of passion.
The key man in Nikki's life was Robert Head, her boyfriend and owner of the house where the family lived, the house where the murder took place.
Robert being her live-in boyfriend. Of course, we wanted to speak to him and find out where he was and what was going on. We found out later on, pretty quickly, that Nick and Robert kind of had an understanding in their relationship.
That understanding was that both partners were free to see other people.
Robert was smart enough. He knew that Nikki was young, much younger, and that she was still wanting to go out and do stuff that young people go to clubs and that sort of stuff. He wasn't interested in it.
Robert, a long-haul truck driver, was away from home for days at a time.
He didn't really care what she did when he was gone. He just wanted her there. Just when he was home, he wanted her there, and she obliged him.
GPS satellites
Okay.
were able to track down Robert's whereabouts at the time of the murder.
We got in touch with his trucking company, and they had GPS on their trucks, and we were able to follow the route and use his phone to give us times of where he was, and he was out west and had not come back since he had left. So we had cleared Robert's being suspect.
The twins said there was a new man in the picture. He didn't know that much about him. His name was Joe Carter.
Talk to some men, but the only one I did hear her talk lately is Joe. That's I keep hearing about.
It was possible Joe, the new man in Nikki's life, wasn't as open-minded about the open relationship she had with Robert Head.
When I asked Jazz and Taz who they thought could have done this, they mentioned that Nikki and Joe had been arguing on the phone the last few nights, and that maybe he had something to do with it.
That's a sign that he. That should be right there. Should be enough to tell y'all and tell myself that he did it.
When you do a love triangle, your antenna goes up because somebody in that triangle more likely is not going to be happy. And a lot of times it goes back to one of them.
Joe Carter, a local barber, was located and told what happened to Nikki.
Joe was devastated when we notified him of Nikki's death.
And he also had a solid alibi for the time of the murder.
No question about it. It definitely had to be Joe Carter.
And showed he couldn't be Nikki's killer. Investigators were running out of suspects. A case that clearly showed a prior relationship between killer and victim.
Oh, it looks like the first boyfriend is rude. But what about the second one? I don't know. I still think the second one did it. I still feel like that. Got bad bitch in the island. Get bad bitch in the island.
Jazz and Taz told detectives nothing was amiss when they left the house the morning of their mother's murder.
They told me that they woke up that morning late and was getting ready for school, missed the bus, knocked on their mother's door, which was shut, and she didn't answer. So they just left for school and walked to school. It's probably about 3 or 4 miles.
Detectives checked surveillance cameras along this route.
They pulled video from surrounding businesses.
Hopefully the daughters didn't kill their own
Several
mother.
hours late for walking to school. We even got the video from the school when they came in. They're supposed to be at school around 7:30 in the morning. They didn't get to school till about 10 a.m.
This video didn't line up with the twins' stories that they'd walked straight to school.
Something tells me they killed their mothers.
Detectives could reach only one, admittedly tentative, possibility. And it was unthinkable. 16-year-olds have conspired to kill their own mother and then do it with such incredible violence.
I can tell you from my experience, it is rare, very rare. And then to have twins, no less, makes it even tougher. To get two people to agree to that is tough to do.
It turned out the twins weren't unknown to police.
Our police department had been to the house on several occasions where Nikki and the twins were having confrontation.
And at least one confrontation got physical.
Nikki contacted the authorities, and the police, of course, got involved. The girls were
Maybe the two twins did do it because of that.
It was for them to get counseling. Everyone should get counseling, from individual to group counseling.
Local detectives now look back over all their interactions with the twins in the frantic hours after they reported their mother had been killed.
It's just pretty chaotic. First thing that struck me as different was in the back of the ambulance. I think it was Taz was biting her wrist, and we confronted her. What are you doing? And she told us that she did that when she was emotionally distraught.
At the time, amid all this trauma, this seemed within the bounds of reasonable behavior. But now, with all other potential suspects eliminated, could this have been part of an attempt to cover up involvement in a murder?
Being in the room, Jazz and Taz during the interview, was it anything they were saying?
Why would they kill their own mother? What's strange to me is that one of the twins said, "I want my grandmother," and then she said mother. She went back and said mother. That was strange to me. That sounded like red flags to me when she said mother.
The question now was, what possible reason would they have to kill their own mother?
We've got two very angry girls who don't want to live.
What did this man say?
Because of the presence of evil. I've never had that feeling before with people. I've been in rooms of murderers before, but this just felt evil.
The question now was, what possible reason would the twins have to kill their own mother?
We've got two very angry girls who don't want to live with their mother for whatever reason. You know, she was scared of them. I mean, she openly admitted that she was scared of them.
Nikki wanted them to behave and do good and have a good life. They just wanted to be rebellious and do their own thing, which is most kids, but most kids don't stab their mom 80 times.
With the twins as possible suspects in a crime with this much violence, they were photographed on the assumption that they could have been injured during the commission of the murder. And what this showed cast serious doubt on what the twins were telling police.
And once I saw those marks, I knew they weren't.
Those bruises look suspicious.
The detectives' suspicions were correct. That meant this interview with the twins, shortly after the murder, was a well-planned performance designed to throw them off the trail.
You don't believe it's possible? You never did feel capable of murder.
Yeah, they were playing it. They didn't even sound like they were really crying. She said she want her grandmother. I want my mama. It didn't sound right to me. It sounded like they were playing. They were acting, as if they're actors. Sound like they were playing an act. That's what it sounded like to me. There it is.
Oh, yeah, sorry, get upset. You know, if children cut themselves. She bites herself.
But a bite mark on Taz's left arm didn't appear to be self-inflicted. Was it possible that Taz's mother had bitten her in
Oh, what the fuck is wrong
while
with you?
fighting for her life, and that Taz later bit herself in front of police so that she'd have possible reason for this bite mark on her arm?
It looked like when Taz was biting her arm, she knew she had marks from her mom, where Nikki had bit her in the face. You know, she was trying to cover that up.
Was it possible to prove this? The possibility presented huge problems. Bite mark evidence is highly controversial. These days, no prosecutor will go to a jury with only a supposed bite mark match as evidence. But in this case, investigators weren't looking for a bite mark match. All they needed to prove was whether the bite on Taz's arm was the result of Taz biting herself, or the result of her being bitten by someone else.
The difference is in everybody's bite is enough that you're not really going to have.
I think it resulted in her biting herself.
People's mouths are wider. They've got teeth that are intruded. They've got spaces in between.
So I want to believe it. I mean, she is 16,
For comparison,
but
flexible impression
still.
material is placed in the suspect's mouth. Once removed, it is filled with plaster, which later hardens. This was done with both twins, and also done post-mortem on their mother, Nikki.
Lip material sets up, at which point time we pull it out, and now we have a mold of their teeth.
The bite on Taz's arm was shallow, with a minimal puncture of skin. This lack of tearing on the skin surface made for an unusually clear pattern, and in this case, investigators got a surprise break. Nikki Whitehead had a common dental condition called diastema, basically a gap between the front teeth. So while it was impossible to say that Nikki Whitehead inflicted the bite on her daughter's arm, it was possible to say that someone with diastema did. And neither of the Whitehead twins had this condition.
Ruled two girls out as the biters and narrowed it down to be Nikki to be the biter.
But investigators knew there was no way this evidence would be enough to secure a conviction. However, a bite mark like this could possibly have led to a killer shedding blood at the crime scene. Of course, the twins lived in the house, so their blood might be in various places. The question now was where investigators might find blood.
In the twins' closet, we found shoes in a shoebox with a blood drip on it. Inside of one of the shoes, we actually found two pair of shoes with blood marks on it. Inside one of those shoes was a wadded up napkin, that blood on it, and inside it was a wand of hair, like it had someone's hair.
This hair was consistent with Nikki Whitehead's hair, and the blood belonged to one of the twins. Since twins' DNA is identical, the blood could have been left by either of them, and both of them had cuts on their arms. After a
Telling you, they had something to do with it.
The evidence was clear, and the conclusion inescapable. The twins had murdered their mother. But why did they do it? The answer, incredibly, is that Nikki simply wanted to impose some discipline on the twins, and they weren't having it.
Jazz and Taz wanted the freedom to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to come and go as they please. They wanted to be able to go out and stay out. They wanted to date older boys.
I think they did what they did and didn't realize there was consequences to their actions until they got caught. I can only just remember the last thing Nikki said to me, and she felt like it was an evil spirit that overcame them.
Prosecutors believe the twins had been planning the murder for some time. They think the attack started as Nikki was asleep on the couch. She was hit over the head with a vase, which started the blood trail. A terrific fight ensued all through the first floor of the house. At some point, it appears Nikki Taz in self-defense, a bite that no amount of self-biting after the fact could ultimately hide. And the blood evidence finally sealed the twins' fates.
Jazz and Taz did every single thing together. They had the same rage, the same hate. They just fed off each other. And that frenzy of hate resulted in this tragic ending. I don't think they could stop themselves.
In 2014, Jasmaya and Tasmaya Whitehead pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and were sentenced to 3 years behind bars. They won't be eligible for parole until they're 47 years old. It's impossible to say for sure, but investigators believe this might be the only case, at least in the modern era, where identical twins conspired in the murder of their own parent.
That's
Wow.
one in a million. The girls thought they were smarter than everybody in the room all the time. And I think that they can be incredibly charming, and I think that works at times. But when you get a room full of detectives who know exactly what's going on, you just have to put the pieces together. We're not buying it. You're not going to charm a detective.
Next week,
I was stunned. I was shocked.
He just lost it and just beat the crap out of her.
Kaylee Bruce had been beaten repeatedly with clothes irons.
The cord was wrapped around her neck. Forensic evidence in this case was the whole case.
This is American Monsters episode 19. And it's titled Say Daddy's the Best. It says here, ladies and gentlemen, that heavily pregnant Colorado native Shanna supports her husband Craig's plan to move to Texas for work. Birth of a baby makes up for Shanna's separation from family, but someone is about to exploit her isolation as an outlet for rage. I can't wait to see who the person is that does that. But even though I don't wish bad on anybody, but y'all get what I mean.
I'm pregnant. I just came home from work, and there's a lot of blood.
Alright, so the paramedics are on the way.
My whole world's gone.
With Craig. Shanna felt that she found the love of her life.
Hi, it's me again.
Shanna had wanted to be a mom since we were in the 5th grade.
Tell me about it. What's going on?
The husband sounds like he's fake crying.
But I feel like it was more resentment Craig felt towards DJ.
Good boy, baby. Hi, Peter.
Craig paid more attention and took better care of their dogs.
You can't think of anyone who would want to hurt your wife or your child.
I couldn't believe somebody could turn and do something like that.
She's lost our son on the road.
It was just the ultimate betrayal.
Shanna Vandewege, he has evil inside of him. What are we gonna do with you?
Yep. When he says Craig has evil inside of him, it makes me believe that her husband did it. Well, we're gonna find out whether he did it or not.
Hi, it's Shanna.
When the detective said that,
Show you something.
yeah, that's a sign that he did it.
35-year-old Shanna Vandewege
That's a sign
and
that
husband
her
Craig
husband did it.
have bought their first home together in Fort Worth, Texas. Shanna's home alone.
Let me give you a tour of this super awesome closet.
This is my daughter Shanna, and she had just moved into her new house. She was so thrilled. She got a full-size walk-in closet with storage that she'd never had before.
Come over here. Through the door. We have more shelving.
We moved to Texas because Craig got a job promotion with Costco. He worked in the optical department. Shanna was excited to try and give him this opportunity to advance in his career.
There's another rack. And then here's this side.
I laughed really hard when she said, and his side. I assured her that would be adequate space for any man's clothing.
Super awesome closet.
Shanna and Craig first met around November of 2012.
Shanna was excited to get along with someone who was mature enough to carry on a relationship. He was very kind. He took her places. He bought her things. She was impressed that he seemed financially solvent and responsible. Craig proposed to Shanna. There was a picture on Facebook with her holding out her hand.
Shanna was very happy. I was very pleased that she had that in her life.
Shanna felt that she found the love of her life, who wanted to have a family with her. So she was very excited. This is Shanna and Craig on their wedding day.
She thought she was finally going to where she needed to be in her stage of life, possibility of children, and she was very, very happy.
Shanna was a registered nurse. She never spoke about doing anything different other than being a nurse and being a mom.
I gotta get this sticky out of the way.
Shanna had wanted to be a mom since we were in the 5th grade.
Oh, she's cute. Do you like that? Oh, yeah.
She's the only young kid I've ever been around that had 20 names already picked out for her children. She's intending to be a mama at some point. 2015, I can remember the first time Shanna called and told me that she was pregnant. She's ecstatic. I was ecstatic. I made fun of being grandpa. That pregnancy didn't last 3 months and she lost the child. So. And then a few months later, she got pregnant again. And she lost this child. She was losing all hope of becoming a mama.
In December 2015, Shanna and Craig are expecting again. Shanna waits until she is 3 months pregnant before she announces the news.
I remember the first time she felt the baby move. She's like, I can't believe this. It feels so amazing. You could tell that she was excited to have a picture to prove that baby was okay. She was happy, and she had said Craig was excited to become a parent as well.
A few weeks later, Monica helps Shanna prepare for the big move to Texas. But something seems off about Craig.
We had spent the last week packing boxes, but he wouldn't latch anything that was his. He came out screaming at us. He's acting erratic. That day was the first time I realized his personality, it was changing. He definitely had a short temper. And I knew at that point something was wrong. This is Shanna and Craig on moving day to Texas. The drive from Denver to Fort Worth, he drove a U-Haul truck. They were on the road for 16 hours. So they would have to make frequent stops because she was pregnant. Craig wasn't happy that they had to make as many stops as they had to.
Craig berates his wife throughout the journey.
He was very rude to her. You just can't believe it. It's a person. Acting erratic. That day was the first time I realized his personality, it was changing. He definitely had a short temper. And I knew at that point something was wrong. This is Shanna and Craig on moving day to Texas. The drive from Denver to Fort Worth, he drove a U-Haul truck. They were on the road for 16 hours. So they would have to make frequent stops because she was pregnant. Craig wasn't that they had to make as many stops as they had to.
Craig berates his wife throughout the journey.
He was very rude to her. You just can't believe it. A person could say such horrible things about a person that they supposedly love. I was angry at him for not taking into consideration his wife, pregnant with his child.
Two weeks weeks after the move, Shanna sends a video to her parents back in Colorado. Again, she's home alone.
Hi, it's me again. I wanted to give an update on the house and show you the completed dining room and kitchen. Yay!
Her house, she was proud of it, and she's happy.
The dining area. Then we've got a living room with a TV and a bunch of boxes.
But Shanna's updates leave out the fact that Craig is failing to pull his weight around their new home. She confides in her best friend, Monica.
She was alone. She was also isolated. Craig would go to work, and he would come home, and he would drink up to a 12-pack of beer. He would play his video games and express his disappointment that the house wasn't put together yet. I feel like Craig expected the world to revolve around him, and it shocked me because
But it didn't.
Shanna had never accepted this kind of behavior from anybody.
On September 5, 2016, Shanna achieves her dream of motherhood. The couple named their new son DJ.
Having that moment finally arrive was probably the happiest I've ever heard her.
Bouncing off the walls, being a grandpa. I would have thought Craig would have been as excited, but I just didn't see the emotion from him.
It really felt weird to me because everybody finds joy in a baby. That day was the first time I realized I didn't know much about his personality.
What happened afterwards was just the ultimate betrayal.
But you've never had a conversation with a guy like me.
Wow. Guess we'll find out what that betrayal was when I get this episode pulled back up. I gotta fast forward all these commercial breaks.
We've got our fridge and our pantry back here, which has lots and lots of goodies in it.
Shanna loved to
There's
share her
lots
life
of goodies in it,
photo and video.
she says.
So that is an update on what we've got accomplished.
I'm sorry, it's just the way she said it.
Craig didn't like social media. He was very adamant that it was unsafe to.
And he always has some kind of
pictures
fucking
yourself
excuse.
or your children.
What he says. Guy sounds like a devil, man.
One day,
Sounds like something the devil would fucking say.
I was kind of shocked because I didn't see him post anything about DJ. I don't feel like.
Yep. And the police caught your ass because you killed her too. Acting like you all excited when we all know you was acting
Shanna
fake.
wanted to be an amazing mother, but Craig didn't do.
No, you can fake towards your wife. We know you killed her.
Shanna was having a really hard time getting up in the middle of the night and they're saying DJ. Craig didn't want her coach.
Go. me a fucking
I
break.
think
Quit acting.
Craig
Quit
paid
playing
more
the act,
attention to
bro.
better care
We
of
know
their
you killed
dogs
her.
than he did do
Trying to play an act on camera.
Craig didn't do a whole lot of diaper changing. Shanna was expected to keep up on dinners. Called me in tears once because she needed Craig to watch the baby. So he propped the baby in the car seat and put the baby on the floor and started playing video games, drinking beer. Even if the baby was crying, and when Craig didn't do anything.
Shanna's parents visit their daughter in September 2010. They worry that Shanna isn't herself.
She may have been a bit lonely being there at the house, doing things pretty much on her own. Shanna was more feisty before she met Craig. In high school, she attended the Miss Colorado pageant.
She was vibrant, passionate, vivacious.
We can see that.
That girl could not sit still.
But Shanna toned down quite a bit after her marriage to Craig. They took the family selfies. They looked like a normal family. But it may have just been a front for what may have been happening behind the scenes. When we were up at visiting, I decided to take the liberty to put some shelves up in his garage. I was afraid with all that mess in there, something was going to happen. Somebody's going to fall over something. Craig was sitting there holding the DJ, and he said, "Never step foot in my garage again." I said, "What? What's going on?" And Craig said, "My garage. My." That was it. I left. Went back to my room, packed up my bags, and the next morning we left. For some reason, he just seemed a little bit scary.
Shanna posts photos and videos on Facebook to celebrate DJ's 1-month birthday.
Got it. What's going on? I would follow Shanna on Facebook to see videos. There we go. There you go. Shanna's excitement at being a mom blossomed with every milestone that DJ hit. Oh, he's so happy. Oh my gosh, that's my heart. I think by this point in their marriage, DJ was the only thing that brought joy for her.
Craig, Shanna, and 11-week-old DJ visit Shanna's family in Colorado.
I was very happy to spend the first Thanksgiving at our house with us. Shanna seemed happy to be there, but Craig spent more time in front of the TV. He brought his own beer, I remember that. Craig just seemed to me like just a total different personality. Shanna was very upset with Craig. Their relationship, it didn't feel right from that moment on. So.
I'm Daddy's little boy. You want this?
3 weeks later, Craig records a video of DJ while Shanna prepares for bed. Oh, what was that? Oh, no.
I remember getting this video.
Did you make Stinky?
It seemed to me like he was trying to show here, look, I'm paying my son. I'm a good dad.
That's part of it. It's all good.
I see the pictures, the actions. It's not true. That wasn't his true nature.
Oh, you're so sleepy. You're so sleepy.
The video was almost like just a show.
Exactly what it
Definitely
was.
a dichotomy between what you could see on social media and what was actually happening.
Daddy, why are you recording this?
The light bulb on. He lied to all of us about who he was as a person.
What would that do with you?
We're making a splash with another Twisted Tea drop.
I'm Craig Derrick. I just came home from work and my wife and child are dead.
At approximately 23 p.m., the communication center for 911 received.
Craig was the one that killed him.
My wife is dead. And my
He wasn't even at work. He was there. He was at home when this happened. They're gonna have evidence that he wasn't at work. It's gonna have evidence that he was at home at the time of the murder. That's what that's the kind of evidence that's the evidence they're gonna present in court. Guy sounds like he's laughing about it. He laughs on it. He's playing an act. You can tell he's playing an act. He's crying. He's fake crying. He's not really crying. It's just a show. He did it. He the one that killed his son and wife.
The patrol officers confirmed that we do have two deceased people at this scene, one being an infant and the other being an adult female.
The medical examiner pronounced Shanna and the baby deceased at 9:50 p.m.
How would you kill a baby, man?
This appeared to be a targeted attack on Shanna and her child. Both of the victims had cut wounds on their neck that were extremely deep. A very sharp cutting instrument, cutting from the front to the back of the neck.
It was hard for me to initially accept that somebody could do that to a 3-month-old. This is just evil. And
It's just evil.
you just don't see things like that on a regular basis.
You don't see things like that at all.
You better call my cell phone. You know, I was deep state shock first about, I mean, this is a very, very bad joke. I just talked to her last night.
He told me Shanna and DJ are gone. I lost it.
It was just so hard how she must have felt in those last few seconds she had of life. She should never have felt that way.
A 911 call from Craig suggested an intruder had broken into this home during the day while he was at work, and that
This intruder must have been in the process of burglarizing the home and at some point decided to kill Shanna and the baby.
Burglars by nature are typically very, very non-confrontational. So everything about this particular crime was off. All of the cabinets and drawers were open in the kitchen, but on top of one of the open drawers that was there was Shanna's purse, which was undisturbed.
There was no murder weapon located, but there was a closet adjacent to the bedroom that had guns in it. You had a burglary house and you felt compelled to kill those two individuals. Why wouldn't you?
Added to that, we saw what I thought was blood underneath the countertop on the master bedroom sink.
The presence of those droplets made us believe that somebody had made an effort to clean up. And it didn't add up.
It was Greg. It was Craig. Craig did it. It was the husband, Craig.
We started to interview Craig shortly after he did. Craig got off a little earlier. I'm Detective Barron. My partner, Detective Galloway. I wanted him to give me some information that could help me make sense of what had happened. Who would want to do this? You can't think of anyone who would want to hurt your wife or your child.
Suspicious. Red flags. Can't think of anybody. Clearly, that's telling us that you did it.
Expressing a lot of concern about who could have done this. Who could have done this to my family? Just take me through your day, and what I want to do is just go step by step. Wednesday, probably got up about 7. Okay. It seemed odd. He really wasn't showing any emotion. Did you breakfast that morning or anything? No. Craig said that it was just a fairly normal, like any other day. I left the house a little bit late, and he had to be at work, I believe, around 11.
No, his alibi don't check out at all. He's lying. Lying his ass off.
Yeah, the baby was sleeping. Okay. What time do you think you got your up? Probably about 11:40ish.
Craig did seem fairly certain of what had happened that morning, and he was very deliberate in what he told us.
Craig, what I'd like to do is try to go back, and then we ran through the second time. Did she ever wake up whenever you left? Yeah, kissed her goodbye. She woke up, said, "Love you, see you tonight." Craig makes a change in the story that morning about Shanna.
She reminded me to get the ladder. All right, I'll get the ladder so we can hang it for a wedding picture.
The first time he initially said she was asleep. And then he does in fact say that she's awake and that she actually engaged him in some degree of conversation. When she said that the ladder.
Oh, he is lying.
Sometimes people, when they're not being honest, they'll think about things they said the first time and they'll think, that didn't sound very good. Maybe
Telling you he's lying.
This way this time. Changes in stories are definitely flags.
No question about it. Red flags.
Crazy that'll kill you. The biggest name in crime is now on the biggest network for crime.
This level of planning is maniacal.
Cell phone records are the new DNA.
Without it, we wouldn't have this animal off the street.
It's
Forensic Files 2, all new, next Sunday at 8, now on ID. If you have Graves' disease, your eye symptoms could mean something more.
Copyright.
The eyes. Up to
Whew. All right, I'm back. Now we can continue on with American Monsters, episode 19. Wishing you with your American Monsters watch along here. I'm fasting these commercials. Not a big fan of commercials at all. They take way too long sometimes. Yeah, this guy's definitely lying, though. This great guy. He definitely had something to do with killing the baby and the mother.
There's no problems. We just have to push our door down.
As we continued to ask Craig kind of about his relationship, he indicated there were some concerns over money.
You keep your wife and your child on your insurance as well. Yeah. Do y'all get a chance to cover them on life insurance and all that good stuff? I go a little deeper into his finances. You remember how much you're paying on your wife and how much you're paying on your child? On Peter, it was like $5,000 or $6,000. On my wife, it was like $130,000. But contrary to what you told me in the interview, we find out later, Craig had recently significantly increased the life insurance.
The motive was money, clearly. I knew that bright as day.
It was evident after we found out that number that he was going to financially benefit from the death of his family. That certainly contributed as a possible motive to this.
Yeah, money was a motive.
Suspicious, and then I won't call. He does make what I thought was a very weak attempt to try to show some emotion. Oh God! And then
playing the act. And he know he did it.
Making sure that it's understood that he's not there. Hasn't been there. He just came home to this.
When was the last time you actually spoke?
Morning right before I left.
Okay, so you didn't call her during the day, you know, what about text?
I texted her on your phone that you have. Is your phone coded? You got anything?
We asked Craig if we could have his phone. We wanted to get a download of his phone to corroborate what he was saying.
I'm more than willing to open up to
Oh, I understand.
But I do it later. Turn over my phone.
I rarely see someone who has lost a child that will not give you anything you need to help with your investigation.
So if let's you go through it, I'll get it back.
I can't guarantee anything as far as how long it's going to take him up there. Craig came across kind of egotistical, I think. Almost very self-centered. He was more concerned about him than anything else that had gone on that was happening at that time. To the point where he goes to sleep and starts snoring. So I let him sleep.
What the?
We were conducting our search at the time.
He slept in a fucking interrogation room.
I had every available crime scene person in that house. We had written our search warrant that morning to include all of this. One of the things he found in the center console, there was a latex glove. It appeared to have been used. There was some degree of some staining or some sort on it. We ultimately had that tested.
But DNA, it takes the process. We were obviously very anxious to see what that was going to reveal.
I had requested a full content search on Craig's phone. I was interested in his social media accounts. There was nothing really unusual. But one of the things that my forensic examiner was able to tell me was that the phone that had been used to access different dating apps. He named 4 or 5.
What we found was that he had been communicating with an ex-girlfriend of his.
There was an exchange where he's asking her about having sex with him, or at least trying to make that happen.
He was saying that he was unhappy in his marriage. At one point, he indicated that he had intentions of serving Shanna with divorce papers and ending his relationship with her.
That image
Why didn't he do that?
that he had tried to portray as them having this great, wholesome relationship. Well, now we're starting to see cracks.
Why did he do that instead of killing him?
Speak to people that worked for Craig and around Craig at Costco. They shared a lot of information that was crucial to the investigation. Craig said things like he had to drink alcohol to self-medicate and was looking for a way out of his marriage. And also, he was very verbal in describing how he was taking a large amount of insurance money if something terrible were to happen to his family. If he were to stage something like that, he could become a very wealthy man. And also, we found out he was 45 minutes late for work that day. He showed up about 11:45.
In the course of being late, he had stopped and I think picked up coffee and bagels for his employees.
And then we found out he parked his vehicle under a camera. He made it very evident and had proof to show that he never left the building once he got to work that day.
At 9:29 p.m., Craig comes home from work and calls 911.
And they died before Craig arrived at work. Clearly. That's what that clearly tells me.
His phone is never more than 100 meters away from where this event took place. By that time, I was pretty well content that he's
guilty.
My suspect.
He's guilty.
You
4 days after the murders, Detective Barron interviews Craig again.
I'm fairly focused on Craig at this point. Know where this is going.
But the evidence was proving to be circumstantial. There wasn't what we call a smoking gun.
All right, here's the thing. I have to eliminate you. Do you understand that? And so I wanted Craig to take a polygraph test. We can go do that right now. Okay. My psychologist reports. At 4? Yes, sir. Is there any way we can move that? Because we need to get this done. So you're going to get my complete? Yes, I'll have somebody check up at the lab and see if it's completely ready.
You told me it was done. Craig was furious that he was, in his mind, lured up there.
My employer provided an attorney. I could speak with her before we go any further. Okay. You told me that day you could move back my cell phone. That's the only thing down here. Yeah, and I'll just explain to you. I understand what you explained, sir. However, that's not how you got me down here. And he goes outside, and I watch, and he never comes back. The one.
Got him. He thought he was gonna fucking try to get away with it, man. Nah, they wasn't gonna let that shit slide. His ass about to get a ride to jail. That's where he going. I can't wait for this to come back on.
Six days after Shanna's murder, a stranger approaches a clerk at a 7-Eleven in Glenwood Springs, Colorado.
He starts telling the guy how the government is after him and that he was being framed for killing his family.
The clerk, he could tell that there was something very, very strange about this person. That clerk called 911 to let police know what was going on.
Police officers that arrive on scene, they see the man driving off. They begin to follow. He's driving a vehicle without license plates on it. Officers approach the vehicle.
It was, in fact, Craig Vandewege, he told the officers he was driving to Colorado, and at one point he stopped at a convenience store there.
I don't know what his intentions were. I don't know if he felt like maybe the walls were closing in on him. The officers, they were suspicious because there was a AR-15 rifle next to him in the seat. When he did ultimately get out of the car, I believe that on his person he had 2 additional firearms.
Craig ended up being arrested off of that particular incident and was taken into custody.
Glenwood Springs, they had enough forethought to look into what he was saying. He said, hey, maybe we ought to let the guys from the work know about this. Don called homicide detective that night. He called me. He says, he's in our jail. Are y'all wanting him for anything? At that point, I made my decision to act because I think there's a chance that given his behavior, he could hurt somebody else.
Craig is extradited to Fort Worth and charged with 2 counts of capital murder.
At the crime scene, we had searched Craig's vehicle. One of the things that was noticed in there was a latex glove.
That was tested for DNA evidence.
We had his DNA on the inside of the glove, letting you know he had worn that glove. And then blood profile from the baby on the outside.
That was crucial to the investigation. This proved Craig was responsible for the murder of his family.
I believe that Craig wanted a lifestyle that was beyond what he was living. Money was probably the primary driver, what he would get out of insurance money. I think he probably stayed up late that night drinking. He made the decision that he would kill her if he wanted to be this independent guy out there just living the life without a family. Then it's easier to understand why he would have to kill the child too. The child would just weigh him down. That would be a permanent attachment to her, his life. And so I think the determination was made then that, well, I just have to kill them both. I think he cleaned himself up.
Guy's a sicko, man.
He drove to work. He was late.
This is a true American monster.
Getting rid of evidence on the way to work.
was found guilty of capital murder, and the sentence that was imposed was life in prison without the chance of parole.
Yeah, he's never giving out.
When the judge
He's never getting out.
told him, first emotion I seen out of him, he finally broke down and actually cried for himself. Self-pity.
I would describe Craig Vandewege as a person lacking of any type of moral compass. He's a narcissist, and he's very determined to do things that make Craig happy. He has evil inside of him. He's an evil man.
Mm-hmm. What else?
And Dietrich, still got their pictures on my walls at home, still got their pictures at my work. Birthday, I'll post a little something on Facebook in their memory. And I think often about the anticipation of what they could have become.
I expected to have a future with her. It's still really hard when I realize that future is not even an option anymore. There are so many things that I miss. Her vibrancy and her hugs. Shanna didn't give a gentle pat on the back. You got a bone-crushing hug you could feel down to your soul. And I'll never get to do that again.
Craig filed notice of an appeal immediately following his conviction. November 2021, he has yet to file a brief stating the grounds of his appeal.
It was typical for Nolan to stay off kind of on his phone.
It was just kind of a weird dude.
I knew something was. He thought he was going to get away with it. I now look at it being really, really dark.
Okay, so what I'm watching next is Signs of Respect. This is episode 23, season 5.
Oh, wow.
And it says that a killer shoots a young woman dead in her boyfriend's Orlando, Florida apartment. Hours later, he turns up in the hospital bed, 500 miles away with a gunshot wound, in a bizarre story that unravels to reveal he's a lying, callous psychopath. Can't wait to watch this. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty intense, man. It's gonna be some twists and turns here. Here we go.
What?
That's your wife.
Listen, roughness is everything. It's more stunner than casual sex. That's just pulling it.
You're hurting me. Okay, stop. Orlando, please come to this line for first. I can help you.
I just talked to my nephew, and he said that tonight, him and the neighbor came down and was fighting with his girlfriend, and he was trying to get him off from her. They knocked him out. And he said she was shot, and he shot also.
Okay, so is she, where is she then? If she
said she was in the bedroom floor. Oh my God, somebody please.
I would kill again. The thing inside of me, it's like the appetite to go with this. Feeling hunger.
March 17, 2013, Orlando, Florida.
Police arrived at the Orlando apartment of 20-year-old Ryan Doyle and found the body of his girlfriend, 25-year-old Laura Fisher, dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Doyle was nowhere to be found.
Who?
Who? Ryan Doyle and found the body of his girlfriend, 25-year-old Laura Fisher, dead from multiple gunshot wounds.
Damn.
Doyle was nowhere to be found. Investigators located Doyle hours later in an emergency room more than 500 miles away in North Carolina with gunshot wounds to his shoulder.
And he better not lie. So if he lies, they're going to look at him as a psychopath. If he lies and says he did it.
I'm going to talk to you about what's going on, but I also want to let you know that you're under no obligation to talk to me. You're free to go at any time.
I'd rather we talk about it.
Well, I would prefer you to. I just want you to. You're good.
At this point in the investigation, they are aware that the suspect's girlfriend has been found dead in his apartment, and he has fled the scene of the crime. Doyle doesn't do what the rest of us would do. He doesn't call 911. He doesn't try and revive her. He doesn't call for help or scream for help with any of the neighbors. He packs his stuff and he leaves.
All right, Ron, where do you live?
Typical. Something a suspect always does. Something a suspect does. Makes me believe that he's a suspect of his own girlfriend's murder. I think he is. We'll see. We'll find out. He's talking right now.
He might be intentionally trying to manipulate the situation by being so flat and not sharing any vulnerabilities.
He knows he's the suspect of his girlfriend's murder.
Psychopaths tend to have this very flat affect. They don't respond to the typical emotions like you or I might.
The motive probably was money.
One of the markers of the psychopathic.
What if the motive was money? What if?
Not being able to have relationships. Being
probably took some life insurance money out of her account.
Here we have a little.
He did something.
Taste of that. It's not
right. For him to be killing her, he did something. He took some kind of money.
He's drawing from someone else, but he's not doing anything with it.
Are you intending drugs or anything down there?
I quit drinking for about 8 months. So none of those others the first one I drank within 8 months. Alcohol's been my biggest weeks. I've been drinking all night stuff.
Doyle's telling us that he's been clean and sober for 8 months, but what we know from the record is that's not entirely accurate. There's a history of drug use. We also know based on neighbors' accounts that he was on again, off again using alcohol. And when you already have an individual who struggles with impulsivity, and then you increase that impulsivity with drug and alcohol abuse, you essentially have a powder keg for pretty negative behavior.
So you're not forcing the pattern on the cookies.
So, you and your friends?
Some of those friends. It's sparks like banging.
Okay.
Everybody around there tells them to be. They disrespect me. So I mean, they hate my little gangsters. Don't get in best place. They yell over either. Or a cuss face. I end up hitting I knew when I broke. I got her one up. He was.
Someone with psychopathic traits may talk about very violent, impulsive behavior as if they're going to the store to buy a jug of milk, with really no outward expression of their emotions.
thought of it very so she's more like sex on the shit.
Think so?
She tied me down and I tied her down. Just use that one. And then her door. I was trying to step back to cover her. I was trying to protect her. And she ran the shoulder. I don't know where he was aiming in.
Doyle wants this female detective specifically to believe that he's the chivalrous man who's trying to protect his old lady, and Darren was aggressive. He was the perpetrator. He's trying to get her to believe he's this good guy who will protect women. We know that that's just
Trying to get her to believe he's the victim, basically.
What did you say? So trying to keep him at the door, and then he shoots you. That's the last thing.
I black out. That's it.
You can tell there's some consistencies in his story. There's some consistencies in his story. Yeah, he's definitely lying. Anyway, I don't believe this guy. I don't believe this guy at all. I think it was the opposite. I think something totally different happened. I don't believe this guy's story. And neither should y'all. High as fuck, man. I'm high as fuck, man. Whoa.
Nobody here, man. Blood work.
Yeah, he's definitely
He
lying.
wakes up and the woman that he has claimed as his girlfriend is covered in blood, and he is not particularly bothered by that. He's more bothered by how he has suffered. The indifference to the suffering of his girlfriend feels very much like a marker of God.
You're already interviewing D.
Did Ryan punch you in the face? Did you get it?
No.
Ryan's telling us that you shot him.
What? I shot him? Man, come on. No, I haven't shot anybody. I can take a lie detector test. I haven't shot no gun at all. We got a scuffle when you come. And then after that, we left and went upstairs.
I mean, do you know why you're in the sheriff's department?
Honestly, and I was over there. I got shot. Just, took his person out of
He said he has no reason to lie.
Distancing himself from his girlfriend.
But you are lying.
To her as that girl. And he almost preemptively provides a, don't worry, I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. I think that that's his attempt to hopefully stop her from asking any other questions or doubting him in any way.
Ryan's had his childhood was not very good. And he was sexually abused, physically abused, and potential for Shanna Vandewege and checking his mom doing it.
As Doyle's aunt is being called in to the interrogation, his body language changes. He goes from being open and somewhat comfortable, relaxed, laid back, to he's now pulled his body parts together. He's crunched together almost in a somewhat fetal position, he's in control anymore. Individuals who are psychopathic like to maintain a sense of control when they're dealing with the authorities. Now it's going to get uncomfortable because he has a mother figure in the room, trying to be his moral compass.
And you stick out the alternative and everything with you. Is that what you want me to do that? No. You think I'm stupid?
Didn't say what.
No, look me in the eye. Do you think I'm stupid? No. You're going to stand here and you're going to tell me the truth.
I mean, don't tell the truth about it.
Somebody knows.
I don't remember. I'd like to tell. Don't remember.
He says to his aunt, don't remember shooting her. This is quite a shift from the interest of the interview where he's basically said,
He's basically lying.
Dee shot her. Oh, and shot me, by the way. But now, unsolicited to his aunt, he says, I don't remember shooting her. Almost as if he's taking responsibility, but he's saying he doesn't remember.
He has feelings for his aunt and doesn't want to disappoint her. She clearly is familiar with his rages, his drinking, his episodes, his fights, and perhaps Doyle thinks that she's going to get, she's going to bail him out of trouble. And despite all the other things happening, the lack of remorse, the shallowness, the glibness, a part of him is more human when she's in the room. And that part that's more human is not able to lie in the complete way he can to a stranger.
I'm going down and choose black man.
Hey, he ain't giving her time to finish talking. Just cut her off.
If you did something, then you need to man up and have the guts and make the statement.
And trying to play back through my memory. When I black out.
I'm about to fall asleep watching this.
We helped you all of your life.
For real.
Right now, the time that you said, please, I don't need. Where did you get rid of the gun?
You know what road I was on?
He's now willing to say he committed the crime, but the detective knows what he knows. More details from himself. Doyle doesn't want to say these things in front of his aunt because now the impression management has switched to the aunt. He doesn't want this one and only person who has protected him his whole life, taken him in every time he's failed and he's messed up, to think less of him as a person.
Everything wrong, please. It's not gonna be easy for you to tell me that you lied. I know that. I know it's been harder for you to say it, but everybody lies.
I did. And then you look at it, but that's what you're for.
What happened? Did y'all start arguing?
I know myself. So I'd say extend minutes. Speak in there and come through it. She got pissed off. But me being already in a blackout stage, everyone knows that
He's saying if she had just left me alone, this wouldn't have happened. And that is squarely the kind of behavior that we see with psychopathic individuals, is this inability to take responsibility for their own violence and aggression and the harm they cause others. And what we know about psychopathic individuals is that they don't typically like to be challenged, and that may have been what kicked off the violence.
And his phone,
Oh, wow.
it says they find him in a conversation with other women.
I am on. Yes, you are. Investigators were going through his phone. They found hundreds of photographs and video recordings of women in quite explicit sexual positions. And what's so disturbing, what's so upsetting, are the women sort of saying, wait, stop, or don't appear to know that they're being recorded. Doyle appears to be a sexual psychopath, really dominant, aggressive, and enjoying hurting women.
Listen, roughness is everything. It's more funner than casual sex. That's just boring. You're hurting me. Okay, stop. Oh, poor thing. She wants to cry.
I never did. And then we got to the bedroom. I don't remember shooting. I remember hearing Rick. That's
He's lying. Well, you just confess, bro. Come on.
How maybe Bobby is joining forces with the children and
Psychopath always lie. One more episode, I can lay in the fucking bed. Why is my shoulder itching, man? Oh, my shoulder. Because I vaped something that made it. I don't think it had anything in my vaping. In fact, now I'm itching. I think it's just my eczema.
I've got a rule, but I asked my brother to say something about messing with me. It's already been first 4 years of his life. He looks at me as fuck. She said it's almost like better off that I don't look around him because my temper larger. Pissed me off.
Where was she when you shot her?
Individuals with psychopathic traits have a difficult time reining in their rage. And pair that with their lack of remorse and their callousness for hurting other people, they lash out without really even thinking about what it means for the other individual.
Go ahead.
They also have this grandiose sense of who they are and what they've accomplished. How dare she question him? The way he wants to spend time with his brother, she should have known better in his perception.
And he admits that he lied about his own injury. Wow,
Where
dude.
were you when you shot yourself down? Did you stand in Florida?
Who is this detective anyway? That interviewed him.
he's a messy and disorganized, impulsive killer. Though he does go to great lengths to try to help himself, but he's not very good
Already.
covering enough,
Go
the
to
murder scene is sufficient itself to sort of bolster the story
already.
that somebody invaded the handsome shop. The way he's trying to avoid blame is by making himself into a hero and a victim at the same time. He may regret that he was
Trying to stay up to the last episode. I'm already ready to go to sleep though. Alright, we are now about to watch another episode of Psychopath. Kinda ended. His aunt visits him in prison. This guy got sentenced to life.
I'm at school. I hit it pretty well.
You're not supposed to do stuff like that.
Well, I was going to tell you. No, it wasn't.
Okay. This last one, I'm in this last one, I'm laying in the bed. I already posted the schedule on YouTube, so y'all go check it out. Got some interesting games that I'm going to be streaming this week on the RWA YouTube channel. You could tell I sound sleepy. But I am high as fuck too, because I did vape that, I vaped that icy mist. I was vaping on that icy mist, and I did vape blueberry earlier, so I'm high as fuck. I'm high as balls right now. I mean, I'm high as balls right now, dude. I can't even keep my eyes open. And nicotine got me high as fuck. Bro, why am I fucking itching back here, man? Like, it's gotta be my nickel allergy or my eczema. Hope it ain't my nickel allergy mixed in with my freaking eczema, man. That'd be terrifying. That'd be aggravating. Ah! Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying when your nickel allergy and fucking eczema hit you at the same time. Oh. Feels so bad. So terrible. On the island. On the island. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Checking my notifications on Instagram, sorta. Ah, still itch. Must be that fucking nickel allergy, dude. Must be that nickel. Hold on, y'all. I'm checking my notifications a little bit. What's on the back of my neck? Freaking itching. Okay, now. This is Signs of a Psychopath. Episode 24 is still season 5. It is titled He Thought We Were Buddies. So on this episode, a man calls 911 with his dying breath. The first responders arrive to find him brutally murdered and stabbed 59 times. Oh God, that's a lot of fucking stab wounds. I imagine we're going to see a lot of stab wounds watching this. Because it's a lot. When detectives question his best friend, they uncover a tangled story of deception and jealousy that ends in psychopathic rage. Okay, let's dive into this episode. Let's see what they mean by perfect rage or whatever. I am about to fall off this chair and just fucking go to sleep. Mm.
I would kill again. That I'm alive. Nothing really wrong. The thing inside of me, it's like the appetite to go with this. Going hungry.
Early this morning, first responders answered a desperate 911 call from Alfie's trailer park. Before the caller could identify himself, the line fell silent. When investigators arrived, they searched the trailer park before finally locating him, but it was too late. 40-year-old Randy Tomjak was found stabbed to death inside his home.
Well, that was my first day.
Investigators find the truck's owner and bring him to the station. He immediately tries to escape. What?
I said, here for quite a while. I thought we're there. Check it out. I can understand that. Now, after hearing that your best friend's not there, you guys can buy a house for them. Being locked up like prison, I can understand that.
Falls starting this interview off with an management from Bell. He's brought in for questioning, and his response is he tries to take off. Most law enforcement have the perspective that innocent people don't run. Essentially, what he's addressing with the detective, that he's sorry he had that reaction. He realized that that wasn't the right thing to do. But I think what Ball's really doing is realizing that really made him look quite guilty.
A DNA on Ball's truck could take weeks. The detective's only hope is a confession.
Started out at oh, I was 10 years old. I like okay, that way.
When looking at this piece, one of the things that stands out about Ball is his own narcissism. He's somewhat entitled. The reaction most of us would have to finding out that a close friend had just been violently killed would not be that this is an inconvenience for me.
Let's start at 10 o'clock last night. 10 o'clock last night. Second can of only one best light. Other work controller. Buying the place, right? Now I hear what's now you and Randy are buddies, aren't you? Pretty much. Oh, there's dates where I
Yeah, I can tell he's lying too.
sure on some doors, like I did tonight. He came over tonight.
He sounds like he's really
Right
drunk.
towards the door, turned off the TV, down. Go away.
There's some strange consistencies in his story too. Consistencies.
Night before last night. Talked about his job and everything. Greg got out to fun. Last night, yeah, last night. He left. And I realized that cigarette. I didn't answer the door, and Mike say that I was out.
First of all, he's saying that he's a friend of Randy, but he actually shuts him out, locks the door, and ignores him half of the time. So the only time he really wants Randy is when he wants something. So what I see here is someone who's manipulative, sort of parasitic, just using someone when they need them. His willingness to use people however you need to and dispose of them when you don't. It's transactional. That's really a marker of psychopathic behavior.
When did you send me? I'm not ready. Really?
How would he commit? How would he be able to commit suicide? Come on, man. What? Hold a gun to his head? No way that happened. I think this is a full homicide. I don't even think this is a suicide at all.
He says he thinks that his best friend killed himself, and he's laughing about it. There's no
He's
reason
lying. If he's laughing about it, that's red
Yeah,
flags.
he goes so far as
That's
to throw him under
suspicious.
the bus and
He's
tell
laughing
others
about it.
that he's now gambling.
That's
The
sus.
motivation behind it really seems to be more
If he's legitimately laughing about it.
very classically psychopathic, feeling superior, feeling grandiose, and enjoying your own contempt because it makes you feel powerful. He does not think that there's any proof to link him to the murder.
Oh, really? What if they say there is?
Last night, what happened between you and me? I need you to be honest with me. I can't, I wasn't at Randy's trailer except for going over there and buying some cigarettes. But when I got your influences and stuff over there.
What if there is evidence to link him to the murder? Or put him at that crime scene?
Why is there blood in your pickup?
Yeah, that's what we want to know. Why? Why? He did something, obviously. He doesn't want to tell nobody.
Is there blood in my pickup? Or are you?
Ball is stolen. Instead of answering, yes, there's blood in my truck, or no, there isn't. He just flips the narrative on the detective, and he's doing something that is a strategic and manipulative technique. It's a tactic. It's consistent with somebody who's failing to take any responsibility.
Here we have somebody who's obviously being questioned about a murder. Even if you didn't do anything,
This guy is lying. This guy's been lying the whole entire interview, man.
Respond with.
You can tell there were some consistencies in his story, man. Like, there were some lies. There were a bunch of lies in his story. You can tell.
Trap. No, I'm not. On the seatbelt. In the ignition. Why is that there? When we send it to the lab, is that going to come back? That's Randy's blood?
It's gonna be Randy's blood. If it's Randy's blood, then Balls had something to do with it, or he killed him. Why is his last name Ball anyway? Doesn't sound right.
On first glance, this argument and interaction with the detective, you might think Ball is being childish, but it actually adds to his risk level because the confidence and brazen behavior that he's showing is somebody who's willing to assert
Oh, that storm
control
coming
and
here now.
very impulsive.
I hear it.
He's not maybe without the consequences.
That storm is making its way here, yo. This guy's lying though, for real. He said that's bullshit. How's he your friend when he's dead?
The reaction to me felt like Ball was losing his balance. And he got a little bit scared because he's starting
Dude, this guy needs to.
And so he's speaking.
What?
He doesn't understand.
Oh, I just want to say it so bad.
He's trying to figure out why I didn't want him to die, why that's important.
Through all of this,
What a
we don't
fucking
actually
idiot,
see
man.
any sincere remorse. You see no real emotion. You see no sadness. You see no
No remorse.
over any
None of
aspect of my friend died.
This guy is definitely a psychopathic monster. Got him. He thought he was getting away. Oh, man. Now, less than an hour later, he wants to talk again. Oh, now what you want to talk about? Look at him. He said, the detective, he pat him on his chest. He said, got scared. He got scared when the detective pat him on his fucking shoulder right there. He got scared. He
What
jumped.
it does seem like is he had time to think in himself, but the evidence is so overwhelmingly against him that maybe he can salvage the circumstances if he chooses to give them what they want. So what we're really still seeing here is a manipulative tactic. It's a strategy to try and gain an advantage, and to mistake it for real empathy or regret or remorse is to be duped.
He said he just lost it. You said you just lost it, right? I don't know if any detective's going to believe that. I mean, if you think any detective is going to believe that, you got another thing coming, because you know obviously they're going to say no. I'm not buying that. Oh, man, he really thought he was getting away with it, man. He really... Oh, my God, man. Damn.
How did you get to Bro? After getting drunk and getting up there, stabbing. Did you guys argue about something or? I think that's the best job of what we had last time.
Paul and Tom Jack worked together at a restaurant, it said on the screen. That's what it said. Not even joking.
The stress and the strain on my back, my legs, and trying to cover his.
So they worked together, and then this other job came up, but he didn't get it, and Randy did. And so he seems to have, become intensely envious, jealous, outraged. He took it as a huge insult, and he felt that he didn't get the job, even though he was superior. This is the narcissistic part of psychopathy. I am so great. Why was I ignored? I am better than you. Why was I discarded? And this path from anger to envy to jealousy to revenge is very much part of a psychopathic trajectory of anger.
Yep.
So did you knock on a door and he invited you in, or just walk me through it so that I represent you, so I can hear your side, okay? Better wait for his left and come back to bedroom. Were there any lights on in the trailer? There's not lights, seat lights. Is by the door or on the couch? Did you guys have any type of conversation, like, say, what the hell are you doing here, or hey, see ya? As far as I know, it's fine. Did you poke him a couple of times, one time, a lot of times? Or was that for a time? Definitely.
Interesting, he uses language like, well, I planted the knife rather than I stabbed him. I mean, that language strikes me as his way of softening, manipulating his role in the way that it comes across in the interview.
You take a knife over with you, was his house here? Pocket knife, a kitchen knife, all I know is that's the way salad on the set. That's flat.
blackout states don't work the way Ball
Bruh.
was describing memories he
He
had.
this how you know he's lying. He said he just blacked out. What kind of answer is that? You blacked out. Really?
But this was very much premeditated, calculated.
This guy is such a geek, man.
At night,
Oh, wow. This guy is a geek.
Does he like the religious man, Dad?
He said he blacked. I don't even want to say it again, man. I really don't. This guy is a fucking liar. Manipulative liar, man. All he's saying is lies, lies, lies after lies after lies. He said he. Oh man, these criminals, man. I tell you, they always lying, man. Lying their way into jail. Lying because they don't want to go to jail for something they did that they know they're wrong for doing. Oh man, the Lord is lying and waiting to punish you. Punish you for your sins that you can't win.
It doesn't quite make sense to me. He doesn't remember the knife when he picked it up. And he's able to dispose of certain things when he remembers some pieces of evidence. So he's not forensically smart about how to dispose
No, he's not.
of that. And I think that's what gives him a little bit away.
He's being evasive.
The manner of the blackout that he's describing.
He's being dishonest.
He did stab him 59 times according to
All his stories are inconclusive. They're a bunch of fucking lies.
At that moment, the entire murder doesn't seem impulsive at all.
Doesn't seem impulsive to him, but it probably seemed impulsive to everybody else that watched this show. Probably seemed impulsive to everybody that watched it, that watched this episode.
Or evidence, basically, in the fireplace so that he could destroy it. It seems like it was something that was calculated.
They had a mask on.
What the fuck? You had a mask on. Guy said he had a mask on, man. Wow, what kind of fucking psychopathic monster has a freaking mask on, man?
The angel of death really speaks to this fantasy that he had going in his own head about
What a
it would be
terrible
to kill
fantasy,
someone,
man.
how it might
If
be
anything.
powerful. Ball strikes me as somebody who spent most of his life.
This guy is sick to everybody's stomach.
Published a whole lot. He has been in and out of various institutions and facilities. Ultimately, the purpose of choosing Grim Reaper may have been about Ball's own arrogance, his own narcissism, and his own ability to say, I am that important.
That's what they're saying.
So on the one hand, he's careful about masking, burning the clothes. On the other hand, he leaves fingerprints, traces of blood in Randy's trailer as well as in his car. So this feels like he thought you could come back and just clean up the mess later and everything would be okay. And the one thing he didn't expect was that Randy called 911. And he didn't expect that because he knew that he had stabbed Randy 59 times.
It seems like Ball is very much wanting to see what he's accomplished. Going back to the scene to see the mayhem and chaos, there's police officers there, there's a crime scene that's taped off, there's a crowd of people. And ultimately, Ball's quietly able to take pride in the fact that he did that. And while he says, I try not to do damage anymore, that's him talking about this impulse that he finally gave into on the night of the crime. And maybe this is something he had fantasized about.
Probably got sentenced to life without
wanted
parole.
to revel in it.
You would think he would get sentenced to life without parole after that.
So we don't have any confusion. After viewing the for revenge. Going over the things. That's everything.
Yep, I was right. He got sentenced to life without parole. What did I tell you? Well, I tell you they was going to sentence him. I knew they was going to sentence him to life without parole. I knew they were going to do it.
Me being interested in the morbid curiosity type thing that I'd want to share. Everybody knows kids will be kids.
Kids don't kill. You fired the first shot.
Bruh smiling. Look at him. Okay, folks. Well, I'm getting the heck out of here. You guys enjoyed this watch along. You know what to do. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you share the watch along all social media platforms. And I will see you guys Tuesday afternoon for some Star Wars Racers Episode 1. We're going to be doing the next tournament on that game. I did the first tournament streaming that game. We're going to be doing the next tournament on that game Tuesday afternoon. So, y'all have a good rest of your Monday because I'll be working. I go back to work today. I had my full week off last week, so I'll see you guys Tuesday afternoon. Have a good rest of y'all's Monday. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay strong, and stay focused always. I'm out of here. Have a great Monday, folks.